Today we came back from a really great meeting with our manufacturing partners. And what happened was that we actually approved every single sample that we've gotten, the most recent samples. And that means that all the different colors, both the regular and the premium Thermodos, are now approved. All the different components, just the colors and the surface treatments and the snap lock itself, all these different components are actually now approved.
So we finally settled on the 5 colors that we wanted. So the 2 premium Thermodos and the 3 painted Thermodos.
We've finally nailed down these colors, and I think you're really going to love them. They're really gorgeous, and I think the work paid off on them.
All the mechanical parts are very much finalized, and the housings are actually already ordered, and they are manufactured right now at the moment.
We finally feel like, you know, production is now underway, and sure, there could still be issues, but now the issue is not with, you know, us not being satisfied with what we're seeing in terms of prototyping. You know, now it's purely production, and it's a completely different ball game when you go into that thing.
My name is Ulrik, and I am a programmer at RoboCat. I work on the various different apps we make, and I'm also working on the Thermodo app and the SDK for the developers.
Hi, my name is Tom. I'm the head of Android department. What we are currently doing is developing the Thermodo SDK for Android.
Because now that we have working prototypes, we can actually start building the SDK. That is obviously like a huge and important step towards bringing Thermodo to you and bringing Thermodo to third-party developers.
Currently, we're working on getting the final pieces of the Thermodo SDK together.
But when we started working on the software and started testing on multiple devices, what we really saw was actually that they all gave off wildly different amplitude levels.
I mean, the audio port is not there to measure the value of a temperature sensor. And it's not only that the audio port is not optimized to do that, it's also pretty much all the audio ports are different.
Every device has a different amplitude, both on hardware and software as well.
So the challenge was that if you stuck a Thermodo into, say, an iPhone 4S or an iPhone 5, it'll give off like a different amplitude level for the software to process. And you put it into an Android phone, then it's completely different. You put it into an iPad, then it's completely different. And all of a sudden you had this scenario where calibration is needed, where you would actually have to calibrate each Thermodo on each unit that you used.
We don't want people to calibrate or just do any adjustments on their phone, to make it work. And if you don't do it, you get like a wrong reading. This is not the way we want to do it.
We didn't feel like, user calibration was an acceptable approach, because we didn't really want users to think about amplitude levels. I mean, who does really? I mean, let's leave that to the engineers.
We wanted to improve the usability of Thermodo so the user doesn't have to calibrate the Thermodo before using it.
So we've been working our butts off for these past couple of weeks trying to crack this very rudimentary problem that different devices have different amplitude levels.
Other developers need access to this. It's not just us sitting fiddling with this, like we're going to open it up to the world.
We want to make an SDK that we put out there so everybody can see what's going on. So I really don't want to have magic numbers in the code. I really want to have the names right of all variables. I really want to have everything like structured in a way that you can look at the software and you see what's going on.
We want it to be as correct as possible.
So how do we make Thermodo future-proof?
It's been an iterative design process with coming up with new ideas, improving performance, improving accuracy.
Instead of relying on absolute values, we just now found a way where we could just use values relative to each other. So instead of knowing the actual output level of one of the headphone outputs, we just need to know how much is the difference between one channel to another.
The team has definitely been like on a roller coaster ride with this. It's been super hard to crack this issue, and now we're finally feeling like we're seeing sort of the light at the end of the tunnel on the software part of it.
The way we do it now, it's so relative to each other that you can just plug in any device and it doesn't matter what the level is. So our scheme will work on a notebook as much as it does on a mobile phone, as much as it does on any other device. It doesn't matter what the output actually is of your device or the input. We just look at relative values, so no calibration is required.
We have software right now that is working, and you can plug your Thermodo in the iPhone and it displays the temperature.
We're getting very, very exact readings from the Thermodos that we have right now.
You know, from a technical side, this is cool. This is really cool.
I think what remains is that we need to make sure that this works in like every possible scenario that we can. Every extreme temperature scenario and every weird device and component, and make sure that all these situations play nicely and stay as accurate as possible throughout the different situations.
We are closer than ever to have something that is shippable.
We have one solution, and that solution will work both on the existing devices as well as on future devices.
So we spent now this big effort to make this SDK great, and I'm totally convinced it was worth it. This is as much a part of Thermodo as the hardware itself is. Once the stuff was implemented the first time, I just left the office for a while, and I came back, and then the window was open and the guys were all standing at the window, and then they had one of the Thermodos hanging on a wire, and then they had 3-4 other thermometers we bought. All of them were hanging out of the window and then they could, for the first time, they could read this temperature. They had the temperature number on the screen, and then I could see they were really happy. People got motivated completely different once they've seen like the final results on it. There are these periods once in a while where you have to put a lot of work. You have to invest a lot of effort to build a certain foundation. If you want to create something great, often it's this kind of work where you don't really see or feel the results directly. But if you do things right, one day you will reach your result, and you can be proud of what you did.
Now, the initial timeline that we penciled in back in February when we started working on the Kickstarter campaign had August slated as the sort of release month, or the shipping month. As you know now, and from our previous updates, we are not shipping yet. So why is it taking so long? What's the delay, and what's really changed? And I thought we'd just take a moment to sort of talk about this on the behind the scenes videos, because it's certainly something that's on a lot of people's minds, and including the team. And we want to communicate as clearly as possible to you guys what's actually changed and how these changes are affecting the timeline.
We see you guys as a part of the team, actually. So let's tell you why is that the difference.
Back in February, when we were working on the campaign for the Kickstarter of Thermodo, we were shooting for the $35,000 goal.
And we expected maybe 1,000 pieces. And then we've been sitting here and said like, okay, let's be optimistic. We take the whole thing. We might deliver 1,500, maybe 2,000 Thermodos. That would be crazy.
So that initial timeline was actually based on the goal of $35,000, which roughly equals 1,000 Thermodos. And at that point, that seemed very realistic. The plan was completely different, and the product was quite different. It was plastic molded, most of them were, and we were going to be handling shipping and packaging and everything from this office, actually. Now, we had an amazing Kickstarter campaign after we decided on that schedule, and you guys piled in, and we had an enormous reach, and we got 10 times as much money as we asked for. Now, that also meant that we had to create 10 times as many Thermodos.
As great as it is, this turned our life upside down. So, because we understood that it's not a small side project, apparently you guys are really interested in that stuff. And if you guys take that serious, we take it serious. I take it serious. And so we looked at the whole project in a total different way.
And all of a sudden, like parts of this initial plan and estimate that we made months before kind of started to fall apart. And in many ways, the product has just changed a lot from that initial timeline, that initial idea. And we're also producing 10 times as many. So that means that, rather than shipping them all from this office, we'll actually have to figure out partners that we can work with. The size and of the factory that is providing these 10,000 units are a completely different sort of ball game from those initial 1,000 units.
We changed the hardware and optimized that to something which is like another dimension of what we would have expected before. Not only we shrinked it down, we changed the materials, we optimized everything to the end.
So everything about the plan has actually changed, and it's definitely very unrealistic to expect the timeline to remain the same when all of these other aspects of the product has changed. So that's why we didn't ship in August. Most of our backers have been really understanding about this extended timeline and understand why it's necessary and what we're actually working on. But there is a very vocal minority out there that get it done, that definitely sort of sends us an email, "Where's my Thermodo?" and leaves nasty comments, "Just ship it." And I mean, why are you taking so long? It always kind of disheartens the team a little. We read everything, trust me. And we discuss every comment that comes in on these videos or on the project page itself and some of the emails that we receive. I wish that we could actually teleport all these sort of naysayers and critics here in the Robocat office and then show them the work that's actually being done and sort of try to make them understand why this process is taking longer.
I definitely feel the pressure to get it done. We actually haven't worked on other projects besides Thermodo for the past 4 or 5 months. Every day it's Thermodo. If it's not about the production, it's about the software. If it's not about the software, it's about the support from our backers.
There's certainly this looming feeling of impending timeline hanging over the team, and it does very much sort of come up in every decision that we take. But I think we're also very much staying true to the fact that we want to create the best product possible.
What's the next big step in the project?
When we talk about the project, I like to sort of divide it into 2 separate camps. We have the manufacturing camp and we have the software camp. That's how it is right now, at least. And on the production or manufacturing side, the next big step would be to have samples from the actual mass manufacturing sent to us in a box, packaged.
So we can get the 0 series here in Denmark so we can evaluate the final qualities.
In many ways packaged the way that you're going to receive them, so that we actually get to have the whole unboxing experience, check the individual samples that are sort of hand-plucked, just straight from the production line. That's the next big thing, and we'll do some video once we arrive at that point in time. On the software side of things, the next big thing is going to be having the SDK 1.0 finalized.
Get the SDK done, get the app done.
And have that integrated with the companion app, first for iOS and then later for Android. So just wrapping up this math on the SDK and making sure that all the moving parts are actually sort of identified and working in all the various situations and instances. That's the next big thing for software.